From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. Kyle, lots for the Cowboys to like about that performance in Morgantown on Saturday. A big overtime victory for the Cowboys. We could dissect offense, we could dissect defense, but let's dissect the punter, Zach Sinor. I mean, this guy just keeps having really good performances and won the field position battle for these guys on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, it's the bye week, so why not talk about the punter of all things to discuss. But Zach Sinor, the redshirt freshman, has been fantastic this year. You know, he comes in after Kip Smith, who did a very good job last year, you know, all things considered. But I think through these first 6 games, he's proven that maybe he's a little bit better than Smith, just in terms of being able to pin the ball deep, his directional punting, going left and right, as we saw in Bedlam last year, that can come in handy. So, you know, this is a guy, especially at West Virginia, who was stellar. He had 3 punts that were inside the 10-yard line that got down. His final 3 punts of the fourth quarter were 49, 52, and 50 yards. So we're talking about flipping the field almost entirely in those situations. And when you're facing an offense like West Virginia, you can't do them any favors. You can't allow them to have a start near midfield, or they're going to take advantage of it. And you know, we can talk about how great the defense played, but had they not had the benefit of having a little bit of a longer field to defend, you know, we could have seen a different outcome on Saturday.
Well, you know, you mentioned a couple of those punts inside the 10. The first one, I think it was at the 5, and then the fumble happens in the end zone. Agba recovers. I mean, that's obviously a huge play in the game, and you can at least give Sinor part credit there.
Yeah, you know, give him the assist on the touchdown for sure. And you know, another thing that's been impressive about him too is it's not as if he had a ton of time to let these punts go. You know, West Virginia was sending the rush. I think anytime you see, you know, on the depth chart that you've got a redshirt freshman punter, you know, I think you're maybe a little bit more inclined to go after that guy and see if you can't get him in a situation where he freaks out. But to this point, you know, Sinor has passed the test.
Yeah, and remember too, Joe DeForest coaches those special teams at West Virginia. I think he wanted to bring a little something against his old team. Sinor, you mentioned he replaces Kip Smith, and it just seems like sort of a long line of good special teams guys. Give us a little background on Sinor. What don't people know about him?
Well, it's interesting you say that. You know, the line of guys who've come before him. You know, Quinn Sharp, Dan Bailey. You know, Matt Fodge. You know, some very stellar special teams guys. You know, when Sinor was being recruited, he had mentioned that. You know, he sent a tape into OSU and said, "I don't know if they'll go after me." You know, he's a small town kid, Castroville, Texas, about 30 miles west of San Antonio. Didn't really expect to get any kind of interest, but you know, the Cowboys responded, invited him to a camp, and they said at the beginning, hey, if you perform well, a scholarship's probably going to be in your favor. They offered him, he accepted on the spot, and you know, it's kind of been the story ever since. But you know, you're talking about a guy who wasn't overly recruited, but you know, he proved himself in camp, and you know, per the Cowboys' strategy in offering some of these kids, you know, they seem to stick by their word when they say that. And in this situation, it's certainly worked out for them.
Those special teams weapons, Ben Grogan, obviously the last couple weeks, and Zach Sinor, Big 12 Player of the Week, special teams this week. They've got a monopoly on that award, it seems like right now.
Give credit to Robbie Disher and even Mike Gundy, who helps out in special teams. I mean, you know, with the success they've had in those positions, with Tyreek Hill last year, it seems like they always have some playmakers in those spots.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.